Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Is It Mag Escape on YouTube. Today's review is based off the 1997 science fiction horror action extravaganza event that came out at that year is Spawn. Now Spawn was a very, and still is a very popular comic book series that involved the anti-hero of the character known as the Hellspawn/Spawn, with the storyline being condensed, being formulated in such a fashion that it's about the character of Al Simmons, who is one of the most elite government assassins that's working for the CIA and is betrayed by his superiors and sent, due to all the horrific murders that he's committed throughout his time as a government agent, he is sent to hell. But in order to return to his life, he makes a deal with Satan/Malbolgia, Lucifer, whatever you want to call the devil. In order for him to return to his life, he makes a deal with Malbolgia to lead the armies of hell against heaven in war, and by doing that, he's able to return to his wife, Wanda. However, given that the amount of time that he has spent in hell, life itself on Earth has passed exponentially without him. Wanda has moved on and got married to his best friend, Terry, and he has returned to Earth as a disfigured, burnt entity while being covered with this mysterious costume that has granted him all kinds of supernatural abilities. The film, starring Michael Jai White, Martin Sheen, Teresa Randall, and John Leguizamo, and D.B. Sweeney, it still maintains that same Spawn narrative, but it doesn't necessarily have the same emotionality that the animated series has. And before I get into the animated series, I want to talk about the film. The film, when it came out in 1997, it was one of the most anticipated comic book adaptations that was being released in cinema. And that was due to the fact that it was focusing more on the special effects. And when you think about the special effects in 1997 compared to now, pushing aside 2020 special effects standards, in 1997, this was considered, the special effects here was just considered mind-blowing, especially to someone like me in 1997 who was watching this on the big screen and thinking, oh my god, I had never seen anything like this before. This is the greatest thing ever. I wasn't necessarily interested in the storylines, wasn't interested in the acting, wasn't interested in any type of atmosphere. I just wanted to see things blow up, blood and guts and special effects all over the place. That's what Spawn, the 1997 cinematic adaptation, is all about. It's not attempted to portray itself as some sort of serious tour de force storytelling that allows the audience to connect emotionally with the character and the storyline. And I guess to some extent, I think the reason why they couldn't do it in that way is they didn't want to offend those who might have been more on the sentimental, sensitive side. And it's just that type of film where I look at it now in hindsight and think, man, it's hard to believe that I thought that this was the greatest film in the world in 1997. Is it horrible? No. Is it decent? I believe so. Is it good? I also believe so. I think if you're able to just separate your type of standards, if I was able to separate my type of standards when it comes to film, literature, video games, or television series, I was able to finally see it for what it is. Michael Jai White, I think, does a very good job as Al Simmons' Spawn. He's not the strongest actor in the world, so when it comes to the character of Al Simmons as Spawn, it is very much required to have an actor who is able to convey that sense of powerful emotion and tragedy in order for the audience to fully find themselves immersed in the pain of this character. John Leguizamo as the evil clown / Violator, amazing. I mean, seriously, he is the highlight of the film. I'm hoping that, given if the rumors are true and they actually remake Spawn, I hope he does reprise his role as Clown. Because, I mean, when John Leguizamo is on and he's presented serious material to work with, he is by far one of the most underrated actors, in my opinion. Bart Sheen as Jason Nguyen, you don't really see much of him, but he's just pretty much a standard mustache-twirling, hidden in the shadows villain that you'd come to expect when it comes to action / horror films of this magnitude. Teresa Randall as Wanda, again, you don't really see a lot of her, so you can't really gauge her type of acting based on what you do see of her, and she's not the strongest actress to begin with, so you take it for what it is. Special effects wise, as I said, by 1997 standards, it's amazing. 2020 standards, horrible. I'll put it that way. The music is more techno, industrial based that Marilyn Manson was very much a part of. I will say one of my favorite Marilyn Manson songs is a part of the soundtrack called the Long Hard Road Out of Hell. Seriously, one of my favorite songs in the world. Still love that song. It fits the mood when you see the character of Hellspawn finally emerge into Earth and having to gauge all types of changes around him and the atmospherics and the elements of that particular scene. Merging with that song, just absolutely perfect. Love that moment. But as I mentioned, the anime series compared to the film is absolutely superior. I highly recommend the anime series just because it is far more superior compared to the film, mainly because they actually did it right. It made the character and the storyline of Spawn more into a horror atmospheric element rather than anything that's on an action based format. If you watch this expecting any type of action 24/7, you're gonna be disappointed. However, if you're gonna watch it based off the storytelling principles alone, you can't go wrong with this. It's absolutely perfect from beginning to end. Unfortunately, it's only 3 seasons, and the 3rd season ends on one of the greatest cliffhangers in the world, and the story just ends right there. And it wasn't renewed. But seriously, watch this series. Watch the anime series. You can't go wrong. Perfect, absolutely perfect. But as far as the film is concerned, it's great for what it is by 1997 standards. But when you compare it to 2020, it's hard to look at it from. If you're just watching it as a disciplined critic, obviously you're going to find elements and things that are wrong with it from beginning to end. But if you just turn your brain off and accept the fact that this is a product of its time, it is an entertainment film that has some value to it. The only thing, as I mentioned, the only thing that's missing is the emotional element that is necessary for a story of this magnitude. And I've always been the type of person who loves any type of entertainment that incorporates biblical references and concepts that make it into a apocalyptic epic storyline that has this overreaching grasp that is able to captivate the audience. And I'm me being part of the audience. I love any type of story or film that it uses biblical concepts and manipulates it in a way that makes it twisted and yet romantic in a way, if that makes any sense. Overall, my final rating of Spawn 1997. 1997 Isaiah would give it a 5 out of 5. 2020 Isaiah, I guess I have to give it a 3 out of 5, but okay, 1997 special effects Isaiah is going to say 5 out of 5. 2020 Isaiah special effects obviously 0 out of 5 because it just reminds me of something that you see off a PlayStation 1 cutscene. Storyline Isaiah in 1997 would say 5 out of 5. 2020 Isaiah would say storyline maybe 3 out of 5. It's hard for me to really just articulate it into words without, I guess, coming off as offensive. So either way, I do recommend it just because I think it's absolutely necessary for anyone to watch this film if you are interested in something that's going to just put you in such a state to where you're willing to kill about an hour, 30 minutes to 2 hours. So I guess my final rating of Spawn would be a 3 out of 5. That, take it for what you will. But that is my review of Spawn. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to hit a like on my YouTube page if you enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about the film and what you didn't like about the film. Leave a comment on my Facebook page if you want and a like as well. You will be hearing from me again. And I hope you all take care. Be safe and peace out.